Good evening, my beautiful brothers and sisters in Yeshua. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of November, 2024. It is 8:23 p.m. here in Australia. I hope you're doing very well and being very blessed. What a wonderful time to be alive. I thought I'd do a bit of a reacts to some TikTok videos I want to show you, and I'm pretty excited to show you. I've got some notes that I want to go through, and it's just going to be, let's just dive straight into it. It's so exciting, brothers and sisters. So let's go straight to it. Okay, actually, let's not go straight to it because I'd like to start with how things came about. So basically, I'm talking to my beautiful sister Linda again. Her and I bounce so much stuff off each other that I'm positive that her and I are like soul spirit sisters and we made this contract. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So basically I shared this video with her on Messenger. Okay, and because I came across it a few weeks ago, and I was so bummed that I didn't save it because it was so incredible and it really resonated with me. And anyway, long story short, about a week later I came across somebody talking about the same thing, so I was able to find out a little bit more information about it. So I sent this video to my sister and I attached a message saying, okay, I've been looking for this video for ages since I saw it last. Apparently some dude predicted that Donald Trump would have a podcast with Joe Rogan, and 39 days later the aliens would invade. Okay, so that's all I wrote, and I said I'm going to save this here because I want to do more research, because for some reason that just stuck in my mind, that video. So I sent her that video. And then I found the guy who made the prophecy, and oh my goodness, it is just, I had to share it with you. Okay, so with that background already, talked about, let's go straight into it. So this is the video I first shared with her before I did more research, and I'll just let you listen to it and we'll talk about it afterwards.
I made a video 3 days ago talking about a gentleman named Cliff High who made a prediction that Donald Trump and Joe Rogan would do a podcast, and following 39 days later, there would be a UFO battle in our skies involving the US military as well as other UFOs. Some of you asked me what the date was on this video, as TikTok doesn't show this information. This video is being uploaded on the 25th. There's 8 days left, and the so-called date of when this invasion will happen is December 3rd.
So that's that one. Okay. So I sent that to my sister and I'm like, this is the video that reminded me of the video I saw a few weeks ago. So I'm going to research it more because I want to know how this person got to December 3rd, how, what Donald Trump and Joe Rogan has to do with it. Now, brothers and sisters, it's going to blow your mind. Like, absolute. Ugh. Anyway. So I research a little bit, and within 5 minutes I find the actual guy who made the prophecy, and without me blabbering on, I will show you, because this is explained from the guy's point of view, from the guy who made the prophecy. So let's listen to this one.
This is so wild. So this man called Cliff High developed a software program over 20 years ago that scanned the entire internet and analysed thematic patterns and language that people were using all over the world to predict the future. Cliff High believed in our individual subconscious intuition, but he also believed in our interconnected consciousness that we all draw from whether we're aware of it or not. So using a technique that he called predictive linguistics, he wrote a program that was able to analyse all the keywords and phrases and thematic patterns and assigned them an emotional value. It then uses a formula to gauge our emotional tensions and write a report on events that will happen in the future. Now, these predictions all came with a precondition that Cliff called temporal markers. And that's kind of like a precursor event, like a trigger event that has to happen before the prediction will come true. So the prediction will not happen until or unless the temporal marker or the trigger event happens first. So what did this program predict? Way back in 2009, this is crazy, honestly. The software program reported of a battle in our skies that got chaotic and out of hand between military jets and UFOs, and also, interestingly, UFOs against other UFOs. And this would mark the beginning of an era where non-human intelligence became a part of our everyday reality. And this was all to take place roughly 39 days after the trigger event happened, so after that temporal marker event. And that temporal marker event was Donald Trump being interviewed by Joe Rogan, which just happened the other day and is already the biggest podcast of all time. But let me explain why this is so wild. In 2009, when this prediction was made, Joe Rogan was far from being a household name like he is today. His podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, had its very first episode in December 2009. And back then, it was literally just Joe and a couple of his mates on their webcams in their lounge room. He had hosted Fear Factor, and he was the commentator for the UFC back then, but even then, the UFC was way smaller than what it is today. And Donald Trump being the president was not even in the conversation. In 2009, he was just a real estate mogul and the guy from The Apprentice. This kind of prediction back then was so far out of left field that it was hardly given any further thought by Cliff himself. And now, in 2024, President Donald Trump has just been on the Joe Rogan Experience, the biggest podcast in the world. And at the same time, we have so many military whistleblowers, Harvard lawyers, Stanford scientists, all coming out and saying UFOs and non-human intelligence are very real, and that we, the public, need to be made aware of this before it's potentially catastrophically forced upon us. The world is so crazy right now.
Well, there you have it, brothers and sisters. So that's why, play that back again if you need to, because that is incredible. The odds of this coming to pass is, I'm telling you, it all comes back to Project Looking Glass. We're on timelines. Go back to my last video. I showed you a drawing that Father Source gave me. And it's just, from the second you're born, it's just line, it's 1 and then 2 and then 4 and then 8 and then 16 and 32. It's just constant timelines. We're skipping and either staying in a low vibration or a high vibration, and just... It's amazing, brothers and sisters. So getting back to this December 3rd prophecy, the reason why this is so extraordinary is because in 2009, this Chris fella, he made this computer program, okay, and basically what it does, it predicts events, but what it does is it predicts trigger events that happened before. And if that trigger event happens, then the actual event will happen. And so way back in 2009, this computer program saw that a trigger event that would happen before there was UFOs and military jets having a war in the sky, brothers and sisters. Okay, now, and the amazing thing is it says that once the trigger event happens, which was Donald Trump on Joe Rogan's show, which happened, it said 39 days later, the aliens and the military would be having the war in the sky. That is December 3rd. Okay, December 3rd. It's physically impossible, brothers and sisters. The odds of this happening are a number that's not even made up yet, to 1 for it happening. So I hope you understand the significance of this prophecy here. And this is what I mean, we rely so much on people, but people are faulty. Whereas, I don't want to give technology the glory, but this computer program, anyway, it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I hope you do as well. So let's have a look at my next one. We're just going to just keep rolling out here. Okay, so the next one is, he does a part 2, and it puts it all together. It puts it all together how it's absolutely almost perfect environment for this prophecy to come to pass, for the the UFOs and the military to have this war in heaven. And brothers and sisters, the reason why I suppose I'm bringing this to you is because I really feel strongly that this has a lot to do with the verse about in Isaiah, which I haven't found yet. I don't know why I haven't, but you'll know what I'm talking about. It talks about the powers. Actually, let's have a look together right now, because I think it's incredibly important. It talks about the powers of heaven being cast down, and so we'll go powers of heaven. We might have to go to King James, and I'm pretty sure it's in Isaiah. Let's have a look. Okay, let's get rid of the word heaven, because there's no Old Testament ones there. What's going on here? Powers of is not in the Old Testament, okay? But I know it's there. I know it's in Isaiah, okay? It's talking about at the end of time, the powers of the heavens will be cast down to do the battle. It may be in Zechariah. But anyway, let's get back to this before I get too sidetracked. So this very well could fit Psalms 91, where it says we're going to see these things with our eyes, but nothing is going to touch our tent. You know, the arrows are going to fly by night and the pestilence in the middle of the day, but nothing will harm us. Nothing will touch us. I mean, Jesus already told us this. You know, we've got the powers over the scorpions and serpents and over all evil, that nothing will touch us. We've got the power, brothers and sisters, no fear. But this is exactly how I think that every eye will see, and that nothing, none of us will be harmed. It's going to be a Star Wars. It's going to be a Star Trek. It's going to be a war in the heavens where we're all going to be able to look up and no one's going to say, oh, that's AI. Or, I don't know what to believe anymore, because everyone is legit going to see it. Okay? So, getting back to this guy adds an extra part to it, because, like I said, the environment that we're in at the moment with what Biden's trying to do with send like $6 billion over to Ukraine so that Ukraine, I don't know, put something into Russia and then Russia use these nukes. Okay, so let's just look at this. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Today's video is a little bit different. You might remember when I made this video about Cliff High. This is so wild. And how in 2009, his webbot program predicted that sometime in the future, Donald Trump would be interviewed by Joe Rogan. And 39 days after that, we would be seeing world war in our skies between military jets and UFOs. When Trump appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast, it became the most watched podcast in history. It averaged 1 million views an hour for the first 2 days. And this interview took place on October 26, and I decided to make a video because I just found the prediction interesting. Like the methodology he used to create the prediction, how oddly specific it was for a prediction that was made in 2009, and the fact that half of it had come true. The other half about UFOs and military jets fighting in the sky. I mean, I've been researching UFOs for 20 years, and even for me, that bit was maybe a little bit of a stretch. But let me run you through what has happened in the last couple of weeks since posting that video. We've had a UAP hearing in front of Congress, top guys from the military and the naval intelligence sworn under oath, telling us that not only are UFOs real, but they are flying all over USS base, their oceans, and they have no way to stop them. Not only that, but the government has had a secret UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering program to study the alien technology. That's right, the government is telling you this stuff now. And meanwhile, Biden and his support workers are doing everything they can to start World War III. It was only a few days ago that Putin made an announcement saying, if Ukraine fire long-range US-made missiles deep into Russian territory, that this would be considered an act of war and Russia have the right to use their entire nuclear arsenal to retaliate. So obviously, the logical thing for Biden to do was to fire those long-range missiles. And here we are today. Russia have just launched their ICBM missiles into Ukraine. This is the first time ever in history that intercontinental ballistic missiles have been used in war. History was made today, and there is no sign that this escalation is slowing down. So if the USA have been back engineering UFOs and alien tech for years, you could assume that all the other global superpowers have probably been doing the same thing. What if this thing escalates to a point where either Russia or America decide to bring out the secret weapons, the tech that's been developed for decades in top secret black projects, and then the other country goes, oh yeah, we've got those too. And then suddenly we find ourselves in a war of whoever got the furthest in reverse engineering alien technology. Like, it's actually wild how much of a possible reality this has become now. 39 days from the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump will be December 3rd. I'll absolutely be checking back in on that day. But in the meantime, I have a brand new weekly show that's going to be airing for the first time on YouTube this Sunday. We're going to be looking at all the weird and interesting things that have happened through the week, and I'll be taking an in-depth look at all the things we've covered in this video and a lot more. So hit the link in my bio, subscribe, and make sure you don't miss the first episode.
Okay, so there you go, brothers and sisters. I thought that guy in part 2 put it all together, because what he said was, this project Immaculate Constellation, okay? And for those of you that don't know about that, basically what happened is the Pentagon, some dudes found out that there was this secret group, okay, that was doing these, what they were doing was collecting UFOs and reverse engineering them, and it was called Project Immaculate Constellation, right? Anyway, so these dudes were like, hang on, the government doesn't know anything about this. So they went to Congress and they said, hey, the Pentagon is like doing, some secret stuff that we don't know about. And then Congress was like, oh, we don't know anything about Project Immaculate Constellation. And then they were like, hey, we didn't say the name. And so this busted it all open. And this is why the UFO thing has come out now, because it was brought to the surface. Okay, so this is why it's so significant now, is because it's very obvious. If America has been doing these secret reverse engineering of UFOs and crafts and stuff like this, and they've obviously created ships and things that we have no idea, and all this stuff. It's not only America, brothers and sisters, it's every big country in the world is doing these things. So what this guy is saying is it's going to be a Star Wars. This is what I mean. This is amazing, brothers and sisters. Everything that we've been told is a friggin' lie, and it's going to be nothing like we've been fed through, soggy oats. I don't know. So I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing. The fact that, and I want to stress this, brothers and sisters, because I really feel it from the bottom of my heart, soul, and mind. And you know how much I love the Father. You know how much I love the Son, Yeshua. You know how much I love you guys, and I don't want to ever steer you wrong, but I'll say this is my theories, this is my opinion, but I truly believe the book of Revelation, like I've said in many of my videos, is the elite's final card, final straw. They knew at some stage that there was only one ultimate end game, end timeline, final timeline, okay? And so their opposite was to create the book of Revelation. I truly believe this, because if they can keep people in fear of Armageddon, the end of the world, and all this kind of stuff, and that the alien invasion is really fallen angels and demons and stuff, brothers and sisters, imagine if everything's been confused and the new Jerusalem, the new earth that's coming down from heaven is really from the so-called aliens, because why haven't they attacked us or done anything to us until now? Because I truly believe that they've been fighting that spiritual war, the war in the heavens, the one that Ephesians talks about. We don't fight against flesh and blood. It's the war in the heavens, of the principalities of the air. I think the good guys, Palladians, whatever you want to call them, okay? I don't know all that, but I truly don't believe we're the only ones here. I think the good guys up there have been fighting for us, and they've won, they've broken, they've had the victory, and now they can come and help us. So I think the elite's plan is to create an image of these entities that are coming to help us, to make them out like fallen angels and demons, so that when they do come down and when they do fight against the wickedness of this world, the worldly governments, like the original Geneva says, the Geneva Bible says, we don't fight against flesh and blood, we fight against the worldly rulers and the principalities of the earth, of the air. But King James took that out. So I truly think it is the I don't want to call them aliens, the other beings that are here to help us. I think they're like, and I think Trump and all this is going to come full circle and have everything to do with each other. But I truly think, brothers and sisters, and I don't want to steer you wrong, this is just my opinion, but it's a very strong, heartfelt opinion, that what we're about to see is actually the good guys, the ones that are here to help us. But the elites are so smart that they could see with Project Looking Glass and all the things that, okay, we have to sort something out. And the book of Revelation, I believe, was it, to try and steer millions and billions of Christians to believe that, all right, we know what the end goal is the good people are going to get help, so we have to make those good guys look bad. And look at all the alien movies we've ever seen. They're always the bad guys. They're coming to attack people on Earth, okay? Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, I think they're here to help us. I really do believe that. And I think that's why they're dropping, they did the nuclear tests in the ocean. And, you see those big nuclear tests that they just in the ocean. I think they've been trying to kill him, trying to get rid of him. And it's enough is enough. Jesus even says, I'm going to come for those that destroy the earth. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, because otherwise, why haven't they come before and taken over and, made us into their slaves? Why haven't they done that yet? Because they're here to help us. All right, rant over. Next one. Okay, I want to share, this is a little sidetrack, a little off topic, but this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. This is a near-death experience. It's talking about babies waiting for you in heaven. I just had to share because it's just beautiful.
From there, we walked onto an area that I could only describe as a nursery, almost a daycare. And there were angels and there were people taking care of babies. And there was a wall. It was about 3 meters, 10 foot tall. And then there was a flooring that went out at least that same distance. No roof, no other wall, just a wall, a back wall, and a wall out. On this area here, on the flooring, there were playpens and tables and, just an area for children. And there were a combination of angels and people. And out in front of this area, there was a huge grassy area. I mean huge. It was just grassy, and there were there were people and little toddlers and babies out in the grass playing. And my angel said, I noticed that there were angels and people. And he said, this is the first time I heard it. This 2 times I heard it in heaven. He said, when possible, children are raised by their relatives. But sometimes it's not possible, so angels help. Mm. And I thought of all the people whose hearts are for children and for little babies, and how that gift will continue in heaven. That we're already in eternity, and the gift you have from God now is not going to change. It's not a burden or anything. Mm. And here's the striking part. When we were walking along there appeared a rustle in the grass, a stirring. And imagine there's somebody beneath ground level, that they're on a ramp or an escalator going up. And imagine they're running up that. So as they are going up that incline, if they were coming up through the grass, you would gradually see, more and more of them as they proceeded up the incline. There was this young woman who first, when I looked, everyone turned around and looked. They all knew what was going on, I guess. I didn't know. This woman, first the top of her head, then her whole face and then her body. She's running. She's got her arms outstretched like this, and she's running straight for this area where there's the wall and the flooring. And I'm looking, and everybody's watching in this area, except there's an angel holding a newborn baby, and he's facing that back wall. And the baby's wrapped up in a soft cloth or towel or blanket or something, and he's got his back to the woman. He's the only one in that immediate area that had his back to her, and it caught me off guard. And this young woman is running, and as she's running, the angel says to me, he says she died from complications in childbirth. Her baby died, and then she died from complications of childbirth. And she came, and that angel, it's hard to say, it gets me every time. The angel turned around just as she was coming up with her arms outstretched. The angel turned around and just went like this and gave her baby. And she took that baby and she held it in her arms, and she just spun around and around. She was so thrilled. And I thought on earth, they're mourning the loss of this baby and this young mother. But in heaven, it's a reunion.
Oh, brothers and sisters, there's nothing better on this earth than watching NDEs, near-death experiences. To get a glimpse, and I believe these people with all my heart, soul, and mind, to get a glimpse of what heaven is, what eternity is, what the new earth is going to be like is unbelievable. And that's exactly what it's going to be like. It's happening right now, brothers and sisters. We are transitioning to the new heavens, the new earth. The 19th of November was the very first day of the age of Aquarius. I can tell you here in Australia, okay, on the 29th of November, I'm going to call it Schmanibus, because I don't know if it's okay to say yet, will be legal in whole of Australia. You can grow 6 plants. It's like, okay, no worries, and then there's all these companies like we have 2 big companies over here, Coles and Woolies. They've been sued because they've been ripping customers off, so everybody in Australia is like, can be eligible for up to $500. And then there's just all these Alan Jones, which was a huge radio person for like, I don't know, 40 years or something, all people listen to him. He's just been arrested, and it's all happening, brothers and sisters. It's literally all happening. We had a censorship bill that was going to be passed through, that nobody under the age of 16 could get onto social media, and that sounds great, but it was basically another ID checking thing. And anyway, it got completely, by the grace and power of, Father and Source, and the power of the people and positive thinking, it got just squashed and wiped. We are going into a better world, and it's happening right before our eyes, brothers and sisters. And this is why I wanted to share this video. Everything that was taken from us, brothers and sisters, everything that goes to you, mamas and papas, brothers and sisters, whoever we've lost, whatever's been taken from us is going to be returned in bountiful numbers. We are in the Jubilee. Like, I remember years and years and years of Rapture videos. For me, Jubilee was always a big subject for me, because I always found, I read the book of Jubilees. And that's what a Jubilee is, when everything that was taken from you shall be returned and multiplied. It's the new heaven, the new earth right here, baby. I'm telling you, Jesus said, you can't observe heaven. It's within you. It's within you. And then, like I said, the other verse is, seek the kingdom of heaven first. Where's that? Inside you, brothers and sisters. Okay, so seek yourself first, which means to love yourself, forgive yourself. And then once you can do that, then you can love others, because that's what Jesus says, love others as you love yourself, right? And once you're loving yourself and others, Jesus says everything else that you want, all the materialistic stuff, will be given to you. This is literally the law of attraction. But Jesus is telling you, is like, love yourself, forgive yourself, and then love your neighbours like you're doing yourself. And then when you do that, everything's going to come to you, baby. Everything will come to you. Like, Jesus rocks. This I'm so thankful that I see Jesus, that I see Yeshua in this way. It's so much more powerful. It makes so much more logical sense to see him in this way. And that's really his message that he came to show us, is that we are powerful. Because even he said that. He said, everything that I do, you're going to do, but greater things. Greater things, okay? And that's why he said, me and the Father are one. Just like, Jesus and you and I are one. We're all one. It's one consciousness, We've got to get the titles of like New Age and all that sounds trippy. We've got to get past that. Because the reality is, it's the truth. We're all in this together. It's good versus evil, light versus dark. The dark is going to be, dissolved, brothers and sisters. And we're going to move into the light. Everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be no more death. There's going to be happiness. There's going to be joy. There's going to be babies and children frolicking with the animals. And we're going to be able to communicate with the animals, communicate with each other. We're going to be able to teleport to other planets and dimensions and learn. And, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's just going to be absolutely beautiful. Okay, so let's continue on. Oh, now this is cool. I have to share this with you too. It's a little bit outside the box, but it made me really think, wow, that's a great point. The transfiguration where Jesus, took 3 of them up to a mountain, and then Jesus transfigured before them, and then Moses and Elijah was there. Check this out, brothers and sisters. This is trippy.
Biblical scholars theorize the transfiguration of Jesus also happened at the top of Mount Hermon.
Wow,
Interesting.
So the theory is that on this mountaintop, God's appearance changed, but he was communicating with Moses and Elijah. How cool would that be if in that moment they were outside the realm of time? And so when Moses was on top of Mount Sinai and Elijah was on top of Mount Carmel, God was directly speaking to them at that moment in the present. But in Moses' time, it would be that present as well. And in Elijah's time, it would be that present.
So wild.
And that's why they knew and had full confidence of the coming of the Messiah, because they directly spoke with Jesus on this mountaintop. Even the disciples that were witnessing this, they saw like, this is the Son of God. This is God.
Yes.
And he's literally talking to Moses and Elijah right now.
Here it is. And he says, as the men were parting from him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, it's not good that we're here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, Moses, and for Elijah. Not knowing what he said, as he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, this is my son, my chosen.
So that is pretty cool, hey, brothers and sisters. Okay, so to me, that it explains nothing is real. We're all in a dream, brothers and sisters, and this is why things like this is possible. So when like he was just explaining on the mountaintop, talking to Moses, and then talking to Elijah, and then talking also to Jesus in 3 different time periods can happen at the same time, is because what I was explaining in my last video, there is no other moment but now. And this is why we know good and evil. Brothers and sisters, this is why we know. This is why, the age-old question of, what about the people in Amazon who have never heard of Jesus, who have never heard of the death on the cross, and that we have to believe that his blood covers us? Because that's all a lie, brothers and sisters. We only live in the now. We only live in the now. And this is why this could happen. This is why the transfiguration could happen, and why Jesus appeared with Moses and Elijah. No one questions that. No one's like, okay, why are they like just chilling? Because it was splitting, tripling a timeline in the present now. And this is why we all know this, because we were all there, we're all present, we've always existed. We have never had a beginning, we've never had an end, brothers and sisters, because we are part of the Almighty God. We are the children of the Most High. We are part of Source. You know, Christians get so scared when you say that, because it sounds like you're trying to equate yourself with the Most High, and that is not what I'm saying. We are part of Father, just as your children, my children, are part of their parents. You know, we're still individuals, but we are part of the whole. We're all together. Okay? And yin and yang, light and dark, good and evil, have to exist with each other, like Jesus says, you know, with these parables that the wheat and the tares have to grow up together. Okay? And at the end, the wheat and the tares will be separated at the end. Because everyone has to have the chance, everyone has to have the free will. But the reality is, brothers and sisters, we've been lied to that this whole thing is so simple, when in a matter of fact it's so magical and so brilliant, and time travel and multidimensional and portals and all those things are actually real. But the wonderful thing is it's becoming actual logic now. It's like makes sense, and you sort of shake your head. I can't believe I even thought before, you know, what I thought before, because this makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but we have our blinders on for an eon, for a season, for an age, and then when the time is right, when all evil and wickedness shall be revealed, the veil shall fall, which did on April 8th, 2024, and everybody just went, aha, I see. I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Alright, Alex Jones, we are in World War III. Okay, I don't want to play this because I'm not in the mood to go down that World War III. But the reason why I wanted to show you this one was because of showing you that everything is ripe for this December 3rd prophecy to come to pass. It's just everything is ripe. You know what I mean? It's the perfect environment. Like I was explaining before, every country, well, we know that the USA has now been re-engineering, reverse engineering, whatever the word is, alien ships or whatever. And so obviously every other country's probably doing that too. So it's going to be a battle of check my crap out. I bet you my crap's better than your crap. Blah, blah, blah. So this was just to support the fact that, you know, the conditions are ripe at the moment for this to go down. Russia war update, same thing. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to bring across the negativity, but, you know, see, the thing is, you know, I've talked about Bashar, and that is a guy named Daryl Anker who channels, I know that sounds like a demonic word, but, you know, we're all growing here, okay? He channels this person, this sentient being called Bashar. And basically, I love him. I love him because he gives perfect, wonderful advice all the time. And it's a lot of truth that's come to pass now, okay? So basically, a little while ago, Bashar made this prediction of, well, not prediction, but rather said, because somebody asked them about before the election happened, they said, you know, what's going to happen when either one wins? And Bashar said, if the woman wins, then there'll be open contact. And when the man wins, there'll be World War III and the end of America. And so everyone was like, what? No, that can't be, you know. And even I was like, what? No way. You know, how can Trump equal, you know, World War III and the end of America? And then as I thought about it, I thought, no, World War III actually has to happen, brothers and sisters. It's the finale. It's the finale in every book. It's the finale in every movie. It's the finale in the Bible. It's the finale in every prophecy of most cultures in the world. pardon me, you know, the fireworks and the big boom booms at the end. It has to be like this, brothers and sisters. And when he says the end of America, it means the end of all the crap. It means the end of the 3-letter agencies. It means the end of the fiat dollar system. You know, it's not backed by anything. It's just imaginary. It's the end of all the evil rulership. Yes, it's the end of the old USA and the beginning of the new world, you know, and new heaven and peace and all the good things. So, you know, that's why, again, I want to stress with the aliens, I truly believe from the bottom of my heart, soul and mind, brothers and sisters, that the alien, like I said, I don't like calling it alien because that's got such a negative connotation to it. But the sentient beings that are, you know, communicating, obviously, you know, it's not a hearsay, thearsay anymore. There's millions of people now like uploading footage and the government's talking and saying, hey, it's real, we've got contact, we're doing this, we're doing that, they're under the sea, there's 75 bases under the sea. You know, it's out there, brothers and sisters. We can't deny this anymore. But, you know, that's my whole point. They, for a long time, for centuries, they could have taken us out and we could have all been slaves. You know, quite easily. So they're obviously here to help us. And this is what I want you to understand, that I think there's a great, what do you call it, conspiracy with the Book of Revelation. I think it's there as the elite's last hope of trying to spin this story. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, let's go to this one. This is the split observation theory explaining the simulation. All right, I'm going to get back to this again because this resonates with me beyond anything, and it explains the whole universe. It literally does. So if you haven't watched my other videos, I talk about this split observation. So what it is there's this very well viral, it's gone viral now, scientific explanation where they took protons and atoms and they had a bit of cardboard or whatever in front, and they had 2 slits, and they fired from a laser these protons and atoms through these 2 slits, and then there was a back wall, and when it was observed, it made 2 straight lines of protons and atoms, okay? But when it wasn't observed by not just human eyes, by a computer or anything like that, the protons and atoms just went all over the backboard, like literally went everywhere. And they were like, hang on, what? So this, like I was explaining in my last video, the whole, you know, if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it, blah, blah, blah. And I explained it like a video game too, like, you know, I used Mario World, for example. You know, you're a little character, you're going around, and then up in the far distance in the left you see the princess in the castle, right? But so how I explain this is, while you're down on this field, you don't see anything inside that castle. It hasn't been rendered yet, okay? When you get closer and go into the castle in the game, then everything starts to render. That's what I mean by nothing exists until it is observed, okay? And somebody made the comment of, okay, well, what about, you know, your shopping centres? You know, you can't just say that doesn't exist because, you know, hundreds of people go to that shopping centre. Well, that's because as a collective in that town, or in each town, we have decided that that is our shopping centre. So as a collective, we have created and made an observation that at any one time, someone is going into that shopping centre and creating that reality, okay? So that's how that works. Okay, so with that being said, let's go into this video.
So Thomas Campbell has been working on experiments to show that we live in a simulation. If you don't know who Thomas Campbell is, you should. You know how the CIA has declassified documents about remote viewing and astral projection? Well, the reason why the CIA was looking into that is because of this man, Robert Monroe. Robert Monroe had incredible natural abilities to leave his body, to see things he shouldn't have seen. Long story short, Bob Monroe wanted to make sure that number one, he wasn't crazy, and number two, that his experiences were replicable by a scientific process. One of the genius scientists he hired is Thomas Campbell. And his whole experience of working with Robert Monroe is dictated here in this book called My Big Toe, which is probably one of the greatest books ever written about the connection between science, physics, metaphysics, spirituality. So here's the thing, Thomas Campbell has experienced that we live in a holographic reality because he achieved similar states that Robert Monroe was able to, but now he's trying to prove it through experiments. Search this title if you want to read the article. Basically, he wrote this paper in 2017, devising how we would test simulation theory. It's 22 pages long, but let me give you the key concepts. And if you're not following along right now, you need to be, so follow, because we've been doing an entire series on the fact that we might be in a simulated reality. First and foremost, they lay out the premise in the abstract. If reality is a simulation with limited computational resources, then observable phenomena might act like it would in a video game, where content is only generated or rendered when there is a conscious observer, i.e. player. I just want to note, conscious observer doesn't mean human beings, and it doesn't mean visibly looking with your eyes. Now they lay out there's two views that you have to integrate when it comes to quantum physics and reality, digital reality. One, that the universe itself is a computer. Two, that reality is virtual, but it is distinct from the system that is operating the simulation. The focus of the paper was the second view. In the paper, they explore what causes the collapse of a wave function, like the very famous, very controversial experiment, the double slit experiment, where photons were expected to have a clumping pattern, but they showed an interference pattern, and then when they set up an observing device to see why, it did a clumping pattern. They state that particle wave duality could be sign of a simulation, because in simulation theory, it suggests that that collapse of a function happens when information is rendered because there is a conscious observer, which aligns with the constraints of computational resources. Again, conscious observer does not mean just human, and it doesn't mean looking with your eyes. The paper states that then the universe would optimize computational complexity by only rendering reality when it's observed, just like a video game. If a player is not in a certain area, the video game does not render that area. They state that this viewpoint resolves phenomena like wave-particle duality, quantum entanglement, and the violations of locality in Bell's theorem, because it would acknowledge that concepts like distance and locality are all constructs within the simulation. So Campbell suggests that you can make changes to famous experiments like the double slit experiment that would really shine a light on whether we're living in a simulation. Here's how Campbell proposes that you can perform the double slit experiment again. You can detect the data without notifying the observer. He believes that by removing the observer from the experiment, the actual recorded information never existed in the first place. This would show that the universe around them doesn't exist, much like a video game. In his thinking, that the universe is exclusively participatory. One reason why I think this paper is so fascinating is Thomas Campbell has a very unique perspective. As I mentioned, through his work with Robert Monroe and exploring the various levels of consciousness, he has at some degrees experienced that we live in a holographic universe. Because he's a scientist, he also has the perspective of how we could elicit experiments, set them up, execute them to prove whether or not we live in a simulation. If you haven't, you got to get his book, My Big Toe. It's freaking amazing.
All right, so I don't know if you guys caught that, but just as I was watching, because I know that probably might be a little bit over someone's head because, you know, a lot of big words or whatever. So I just, as he was saying that, I thought, oh, I might draw that. All right, new. Just to try, maybe my silly Australian way, might be able to try and explain it in some way. Okay, let's go. Insert. Oh, what can I do? Alright, so let's just... Oh, okay, this is probably going to take me too long to do this. So I'll try and explain it as I've got a blank piece of paper here. Okay, let's just say... I'm going to try and attempt to explain what that guy just said in layman's terms. Okay, so basically what he's saying is if you're at home, okay, your local shopping centre is is basically in the background as millions of dots all over the shop. Okay, they're just everywhere. Okay, so until you go, all right, I'm going to go to the local shop and I'm going to buy my things, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go to the car park, and because it's all expected, you expect, you're predicting, you already know what the car park looks like, because we're a simulated program, I'm telling you, okay? So you get into the car park and guess what happens to those millions and billions of things, the dots on this page, they form into either the two split lines, or they form into a shop, they form into the elevator, they form into the car park, because you are observing them, you are creating them. But until, brothers and sisters, until you go to the shop is unrendered and therefore doesn't exist, because it's unrendered. It's like okay, just say you've got a piece of cake. Okay, you're looking at a piece of cake, and when you're not looking at that piece of cake, that cake is a billion trillion fractals. Remember how I talked about fractals? That, and it's, the cake's not rendered, okay? But then when you go to someone's birthday, for example, your mind already knows to predict and expect cake, okay? So you're effectively a master 3D AI generator, brothers and sisters. That's literally what you are. It's literally what we are. Okay, our eyes, our pineal gland is like the projector, our eyes are the lens that we see through, and our whatever's in our head, the program, whatever, is able to do this in real time. And it's amazing, and it's fantastic, and it's mind-blowing, and it's something that we have not been told before. So I hope that my ramblings can explain that in a more layman's term. So, when you're at home in bed at night, you're reading a book, you're watching your phone, you're doing whatever, you're doing what your mind already knows, all those things. That it's already been rendered, ready to go at a moment's notice, okay? It's predictive programming at its greatest. But in the meantime, while you're in bed, everything else around you in your whole world, everybody, everything, every moment, every atom, every proton, every animal, every piece of grass does not exist. It just functions in billions and trillions and gazillions and whatever the highest number is, Googleplex, whatever, remember that, in gazillion pieces, atoms and protons. That's all it is. Zeros and ones, brothers and sisters. Zeros and ones. It's all literally a computer program. And my job, I feel that I have signed this contract to say my job on this earth is to help people from the box of Christianity that try and understand in, a real layman's term of, it's not a scary thing to actually see logic and make sense of this all, because it's really quite simple and it's not scary. And the fact is, in what I'm talking about, you don't die. It's eternal existence. You get to choose your own reality. It's a much better way of life, brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I really want to share. I really want to share with you, brothers and sisters, this wonderful just awakening of what we really are, who we really are, and how powerful we really are. So, sorry about that non-drawingness. So, I showed that one, didn't I? All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, I've probably only got one more left, have I? All right. So here is my drawing. Okay, so here's, again, this is a little off track, but it all correlates together. Okay, this is just this is how my mind works. Remember how Terrence Howard was a huge thing, and he came out and he said, 1 times 1 cannot be 1, it has to be 2. Okay, I'm on his side. A lot of people go, oh, that's absolutely stupid. How can you even think that? You need to go back to school, 1 times 1 is 1, whatever. But I totally, when he said this and he explained this, it resonated. It just went straight through my heart. And I'm like, yes, brother, speaking from the pulpit. Because it really resonated with me. So today, the kids and I, we're talking about math. And, that the kids actually brought that up. And they were talking about, 0 times something or 1 times something. And they got into a discussion. And I'm like, yes, actually, let's talk about this, because let's use a logical mind. And as I was talking to this, something just came to my, spirit straight away. So I'm like, hang on, kids, I have to write this down before I forget. So this is this. So I wrote, how can 0 times 150 be 0? The 150 is part of the equation, okay? The 150 is part of the equation, brothers and sisters. So calling the number 150 means it's an entity or a thing, or it's been named, right? When something is observed or it's given a name or a title, it now exists. It's a thing. It's observed. It's like giving a name to something, i.e. 0, and then pretending that thing doesn't exist. It doesn't equate to anything. It doesn't have any value. Okay? So the answer for 0 times 150 will always be 150, brothers and sisters, okay? I know you're probably like, what the hell, girl? Okay, so, and it even works for the equation of 1 times 150, because people will say the answer to 1 times 150 is 150, but what happens to the 1? So what I'm suggesting to you, brothers and sisters, is what we know now in math as 0 times 150 equaling 0, because they say 0 times anything equals 0, right? But what I'm suggesting to you is, what about the unit, the title, the thing, the entity of 150? Where does that go? You can't just make that disappear into nothing. You're saying 0 times 150. So why is the answer not 150? Are you getting what I'm saying? Just because they've given a value to 0, but effectively they're just giving it a name, a title. I hope you understand my rantings, but this is what I'm saying. The whole system is collapsing, brothers and sisters. The whole structure, the whole mathematics, what we've been told how to add up, 1 plus 1 equals 2, is not completely right. And this is what the wonderful thing is the breaking free, the thinning of the veil. I know to some people this may be absolutely ridiculous, what I just said here on my note. I know that. I get that. It's because we don't have the same minds, and that's wonderful, because if we all had the same minds, that would be boring. But I know there's some of you out there who understand what I've written here. There is a value in everything. The pencil that I'm holding right now, the mouse, my phone, my glass of water, my pen, the dust particles. Everything is a thing. Everything is observable when it is... Anyway, I'm ranting. I think I did all of my little things. No, I didn't. Oh, aren't you lucky you get me for a little more? Oh, all right. Now I'm going to do a bit of reading. Okay, this I have to share with you, because this is the prophecy of the red and blue Kachina. Pardon me. This is a prophecy from the Hopi Indians. Okay, the Hopi Indians, which are in, I think, Wisconsin, I believe, if that's correct, in America, the Hopi Indians. And I did a video, one of my first videos on my YouTube channel, if you go all the way back to 2016, I think it's actually been removed. I actually talked about Devil's Mountain, which is in Wyoming. I think that's right. Devil's Mountain. And what Devil's Mountain is, have a look at it yourself. It is a literal giant tree stump. It's not a mountain. We had one where I grew up in Toowoomba. It was called Tabletop Mountain. They are tree stumps. Sorry. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So I came across this TikTok, which was just a bunch of pictures of a book about what is to happen in the end times, of the blue and red Kachina. And these are like heavenly celestial bodies that are going to come into our atmosphere as a sign of the end of, this age. So I thought I would share it with you because I love it and I hope you guys will love it too. So I'm just going to, a little bit of reading, maybe 5-10 minutes, okay? All right. So, all right. When the purifier comes, we will see him first as a small red star, which will come very close and sit in our heavens watching us. Now, I'm just going to stop there because out to the west, sort of southwest, there is this massive big red star that I've been keeping an eye on. So anyway, watching us to see how well we have remembered the sacred teachings. This purifier will show us many miraculous signs in our heavens. In this way we will know Creator is not a dream. Even those who do not feel their connection to Spirit will see the face of the Creator across the sky. Things unseen will be felt very strongly. This fact is evidenced in many petroglyphs that speak of the zodiac and within the Mayan and Egyptian pyramids. The rotation of the earth has been manipulated by not so benevolent star beings. The twins will be seen in the northwestern skies. They will come and visit to see who still remembers the original teachings, flying into their patawatas, or flying shields. There you go, UFOs. And they will bring many of their star families with them in the final days. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, and that's talked about in the second book of Esther too, that the strange beasts will come out of their hiding places and come into places that they shouldn't be. Some from the past and some that we have never seen. The nature of mankind will appear strange in those times when we walk between the worlds, and when we will house many spirits even within our bodies. After a time we will again walk with our brothers from the stars and rebuild this earth. Agreed. But not until the purifier has left his mark upon the universe. The messages will be found written in living stone, through the sacred grains and even the waters. Brackets. Crop circles have been found in ice. From the purifier will issue forth a great red light. And I just want to mention there, one of my sisters had sent me a photo recently she took of a rainbow, and it was pink and like red. It was weird. All things will change in their manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the largest to the smallest thing. And I just want to stop there. That's a lot like the 3 days of prophecy, the Fatima prophecy, the Catholic prophecy. It says that there's two celestial bodies will collide, explode in the sky, and the whole world, man, woman, and child, will have a moment of decision. You'll see everything that God sees in you, and you'll see your wickedness, you'll see your good, your bad, everything, all the stuff. And then you'll have a choice. Do I want to go on God's side, or do I want to live in my ego and the evil side, whatever. And apparently it's like this wonderful second chance, and everybody will have a reflection on, what Father sees in us. Okay, so I just had to mention that. All things will change in their manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the largest to the smallest thing. Those who return to the ways given to us in the original teachings and live in a natural way of life will not be touched by the coming of the purifier. They will survive and build the new world. Only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the message be found. In the final days, we will look up to the heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create the world in the birthing time. And I just want to stop right there and quickly go back to my beliefs, because this goes exactly with my beliefs. Like I said, if you go to Genesis 1, you go to the Names of God translation Bible, you'll see it says, in the beginning the Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Okay, it's the Elohim. It's not our Father, the source in heaven that created our fleshly meat suits, brothers and sisters. It is the Elohim, okay, Elil and Enki, or the Anunnaki, whatever you want to call it. This is why we have the word Yahweh written on our DNA. It's because of the Elohim actually created this meat suit. Our spirits, brothers and sisters, are with Father. Okay, this here, what we're living right now on earth, we are given a soul, okay, for us to live. That's why it's called a living soul, so that we can live and operate on this earth in this meat suit. But we are created by the Anunnaki, the Elohim, whatever you want to call them. Our meat suit is, brothers and sisters, what our vehicle is. That's what's created by the Elohim and the Anunnaki, okay? And this is why Yahweh is written on our DNA, because of that. Okay, makes sense. It explains everything. And this is why the body is a sinful thing. This is why Jesus talks about, not wanting the desires of the flesh, because the flesh is not us. We are spirit. We are with Father. We are dreaming right now, and we'll wake up soon, but we are safe. We should have no fear because we're with Father right now, literally right now. But this is a dream. And we have to maze through this dream, through this matrix, and, conquer it by love and light. I know that sounds silly because it's so simple, but it's true. Love and light. Okay, so in the final days, we'll look up to our heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create the world in the birthing time. Pogan Agoria is the guardian of the North Pole, and his brother is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephews, and they will return the earth to its natural rotation. And I think that's talked about in Genesis 8. Because after the flood happened, it's mentioned there that, there's going to be night and day and winter and summer now. I don't think night and day and winter and summer were before that event. So that's the natural rotation, will be a perfect climate, brothers and sisters, and like day. There'll be no need for sleep. We don't need to sleep. Sleeping is only our recharging battery on this, on the earth that we live in our meat suit bodies. We need to charge them by sleeping. We won't need to do that, in the new heaven and the new earth. Okay, and they will return to the earth to its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise. It is important to understand that these messages will be found upon every living thing, even within our bodies. There you go. It's written within us. And I just want to say, as I was saying before, that, our creators were the Anunnaki. When I say our creator, I mean our meat suit, physical body vehicle creators were the Anunnaki, right? There was one good, one bad. The bad one wanted to destroy us all with the flood, and the good one secretly had a secrets of the universe written within our DNA. He wrote it within our DNA, brothers and sisters. Okay, master scientist, I tell you. And so this is what now we know as the Great Awakening. It's what we know in Daniel as, the knowledge will increase and, people will go to and fro, and we're just going to know everything. Everything will be revealed, the darkness will come to light, all the stuff. So, everybody will be aware. Everybody cannot come back and say, I didn't know that, because it's all there written on our hearts already. Okay, so it is important to understand that the messages will be found upon every living thing, even within our bodies, even within a drop of our blood. All life form will receive the message from the twins. That's like that Catholic prophecy, right? As soon as those two planetary bodies collide, the whole world, man, woman, and child, will have that opportunity to see themselves as Father sees them. Those that fly, the plants, even the rabbit. The appearance of the twins begins a period of 7 years, which will be our final opportunity to change our ways. Everything we experience is all a matter of choice. Life will get very perverted, and there will be little social order in these times. Many will ask for the mountains themselves to fall upon them. Gee, that sounds familiar. Just to end their misery. Still others will appear as if untouched by what is occurring. Brothers and sisters, I want to stop right here. This is an ancient Hopi prophecy, ancient Hopi Indian prophecy. This is exactly what I'm telling you today. Still others will appear as if untouched by what is occurring. This is the 3D and the 4D timeline. The train tracks. You got to hop on the 4D one, brothers and sisters. The 4D one is love, light, happiness, joy. Just seeing the best in the world. Seeing that Trump is like literally bringing in the new heavens and the new earth, okay? And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. All the bad people are stepping down. Everything bad's coming out. Or you can live on the 3D where you're like, oh my goodness, we're going to go to World War III. We're going to die. This is it, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, it's in every other religion except Christianity. It is in Christianity, in the Bible. It's just that the teachers of the law, woe to the teachers of the law, because they aren't going in, they're not entering into the kingdom of heaven, so they're going to try and stop all of us going in there too. And this is what I'm giving you, brothers and sisters. I'm giving you the key to the kingdom of heaven, which is inside you. It's inside you. Okay, the ones who remember the original teachings and have reconnected their hearts and spirits, those who remember who their mother and father is, the Pahana who have left to live in the mountains and forest. Okay, that's the end of that one. Part 2. We will receive many warnings allowing us to change our ways from below the earth as well as above. Then one morning, in a moment, we will awaken to the red dawn. That's again, I want to mention my sister's photo of the red rainbow and sky. And I did see a video the other day, I think it was in Florida, where it was completely red. Like very, very red. The sky, maybe this is what the whole red dawn or the red wedding thing Obama was talking about. The sky will be the colour of blood. Many things, that could be the Bible too, the moon shall turn to blood. Many things will then begin to happen that right now we are not sure of their exact nature, for much of reality will not be as it is now. Absolutely not. The return of the blue star Kachina, who is also known as Nanga Sahu, will be the alarm clock that tells us of the new day and of the new way of life, a new world that is coming. This is where the changes will begin. They will start as fires that burn within us, and I think we're going through this already, and we will burn up with the desire and the conflict if we do not remember the original teachings and return to the peaceful ways of life. Well, that's happening to me, absolutely, because there is a fire within me. I want to know the truth, and I want to go back to the ways of peace and harmony and love and light. Not far behind the twins will come the purifier, the red star Kachina, who will bring the day of purification. On this day, the earth, her creatures, and all life as we know it will change forever. There will be messengers that will precede this coming of the purifier. They will leave messages to those on earth who have remembered the old ways. So I believe those are all the people that are trying to wake people up and say, wake up, come out of that tradition, come out of the infiltration, come out of her, my people. The story of the blue Kachina is a very old story, very old. I have been aware of the story of the blue Kachina since I was very young. I was told this story by grandfathers who are now between 80 and 108 years of age. Frank Waters also wrote about the blue star Kachina in the book of Hopi. The story came from grandfather Dan, oldest Hopi. No living thing will go untouched, here or in the heavens. The way through this time, it is said, is to be found in our hearts, just like the Bible says. Father is looking at your heart, brothers and sisters, not at your traditions, not at your good works and all this stuff, at your heart. And reuniting with all spiritual self, getting simple and returning to living with and upon the earth and in harmony with her creatures, love and light. Remembering that we are caretakers, the fire keepers of the Spirit. Our relatives from the stars are coming home to see how well we have fared on our journey. Many things will begin to occur that will not make sense, for reality will be shifting back in and out of the dream state. That's what I'm talking about. We've got to get on the right train, brothers and sisters. They're only going to be parallel for so long. They're going to split in a second. There will be many doorways to the lower world that will open up at this time. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creation. All living things will want to be present for this day. Again, all living things will want to be present for this day when the time ends, and we will enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. All living things will want to be present for this day when the time ends and we enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. Oh, amen. All right. And my last one. As we get close to the time of the arrival of the purifier, there will be those who walk as ghosts through the city, through canyons they will have constructed in their man-made mountains. Those that walk through these places will be very heavy in their walk. It will appear almost painful as they take each step, for they will be disconnected from their spirit and from the earth. And this is what I mean, brothers and sisters. There's no hellfire, there's no burning, there's no screaming, there's no torture. What it is it's dissolving. It's a fizzling out of the wicked, brothers and sisters. They're just so consumed with negativity and evilness and wickedness that they just fizzle out. Many will appear to have lost their soul in these final days. So intense will the nature of changes be that those who are weak in spiritual awareness will go insane. And this is my big call out, brothers and sisters. This is why I want those Christian people who are holding on for dear life for their traditions and their doctrines and their infiltration into what is truth. They're holding for dear life onto this, okay? And they're really weak in what is true, what Jesus really meant in what he said. You know, let the eye be single. Let the eyes be single, brothers and sisters. What's a single eye? The pineal gland. A perfect opportunity to talk about, Jesus even talks about the age of Aquarius. The disciples come up to him. Where are we going to make the Passover dinner for you, Master? Jesus says, go into the city. There you're going to find a guy who's holding a pitcher of water. When you see this guy, go into that house and go into the upper room, and then you're going to see the dinner furnished and ready to go. That's Aquarius. And I literally said on the 19th of November was the first day we officially went into the age of Aquarius. Brothers and sisters, it's because people do not, the powers that be have made astrology and all this other stuff demonic, you know, apocryphal books and gematria. They've made it all demonic, but they all have been tools to help us. We've all been gifted in areas, some in numerology, some in, looking at dates, some working out this and that. Everybody that has a job, you know, even the even rapture people, people who are looking for the rapture and the return of Jesus and all that. We're all doing the job that we need to be doing right now. Okay, we're all doing the job that we're supposed to be doing right now. Everything is perfect the way it is. But whether you're living in love and light and going, this is the best ride ever, or you're going, oh my goodness, why was I born at this time? It's like the worst time ever. Why my children, Okay, this is, brothers and sisters, hop off that fence. Get on the good side. I promise you. Everything, if you just trust and go with it. Okay, just trust. Love yourself, forgive yourself, trust yourself. Okay, and trust that Father and Source wants everything for you. He wants to give you the world. He wants to give you abundance. And that's what He's about to give us. Okay. So intense will the nature of the changes be that those who are weak in spiritual awareness will go insane, for we are nothing without spirit. They will disappear. They'll disappear, brothers and sisters. They'll dissolve. For they are just hollow vessels for anything to use. Life will be so bad in cities that many will choose to leave this plane. And hasn't that happened? How many people have gone off grid and moved to the city? Some in whole groups. Only those who return to the values of the old ways will be able to find peace of mind, for in the earth we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. It will be a very hard time for women with children. Woe to those who have children, for they will be shunned, and many of the children in those times will be unnatural. And that's what it says, pardon me, in the book of 2nd Esdras. It says one of the signs of the ends will be that menstrual women will give birth to monsters. Menstrual women will give birth to monsters. Some being from the stars, some being from past worlds, some will even be created by man in an unnatural manner and will be soulless. There you go, NPCs, brothers and sisters. Black and white, good and evil. Many of the people in this time will be empty in spirit. They will have sampakua, no life force in their eyes. It was told to me that the first blue Kachina would start off being seen at the dances and would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night dance. This event would tell us the end times are very near. Then the blue star Kachina would physically appear in our heavens, which would mean that we were in the end times. After the arrival of the twins, they will begin to vanish before your eyes like so much smoke. Others will have great deformities, both in the mind and upon their bodies. There will be those who will walk in the bodies that are not from this reality, for many of the gateways that once protected us will be opened. There will be so much confusion between sexes and children and their elders, and that's literally what's happened right now. I think that's in the wrong order. But that'll be about, the empty NPCs. Basically, they're going to walk around just confused because they've got no soul. But I just thought I'd share that with you about the Blue Kachina, brothers and sisters, because it fits so much. Like every single culture on this earth, every religion basically has the same story. And there's going to be a war in heaven. There's literally going to be a war in heaven, brothers and sisters. And I truly think this... I love myself a good date. I won't lie. That's been with me since 2016. I love myself a good date. So I just thought I'd share that whole thing, that whole prophecy on December 3rd, and because that's unbelievable. How in 2009, because in 2009, like that guy said, Joe Rogan did his first podcast with a bunch of mates on December of 2009. So he was nothing. He had 100 subscribers. And Donald Trump wasn't even talking about the political. So the fact that this computer program in 2009 picked up that Donald Trump was going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast show, and that was going to be the trigger event that would then count down 39 days to December 3rd for a UFO alien war with military jets in the sky. So, do with that what you will. but I thought I'd share. It was very interesting. I'm very excited. And I just want you to keep an open mind, not just to go straight to, oh my goodness, they're fallen angels when this, if this goes down. I'm not saying that it is, okay? But, I'd be silly not to bring this to you. So I'll leave you with that. I love you. And I don't think there's really anything else that I was going to show you. I didn't even do part 1. Anyway, I'm not going to do part 1. You get the gist. You get the gist of what I'm talking about. Again, I'm just going to leave you with the end of my video to say to you, brothers and sisters, it's really a matter of choice of whether you want to, go into the new heavens and new earth, because it's on this earth, baby. It's on this earth. We're not going to get raptured. We're not going to get taken into heaven, and all the things. The new heaven, the new earth is exactly like Jesus said. It's within you. You have to create it. We're going to be so much more capable, more powerful than Jesus ever was. And he told us from his own mouth. The creations of, beautiful worlds, just trying to go through pictures of paradise here, It's going to be beautiful, brothers and sisters. It's paradise, heaven on earth. These pictures don't do any justice. But imagine the best holiday, and no hot sand, no crabs that bite you, no sharks, no sunburn. I'm telling you, going from dimension to dimension and learning and watching, oh man, there's no words. There's literal no words. All we can do, and I think this is what AI is made for. I literally think this is what AI is made for, is to pop something in there to say, what's paradise, what's heaven going to look like, or the new earth, and to get a glimpse, a 0.00000000001% glimpse of what the possibility could be of the new heaven and the new earth that is going to reside down here. Med beds, brothers and sisters, I've seen quite a few evidences and proofs now of the med beds that they're pretty much getting around. I don't think they're here in Australia yet, but I know that they're in America. I think they're in Canada. I think they're in Ireland. I think they're in a couple of places already. They're just waiting, brothers and sisters. They have to make it safe. Okay, they have to make it safe, and we're in that volatile time at the moment between, Trump being, believe me, it's going to go ahead, brothers and sisters. Absolutely, Trump. There's, nothing can touch him. Nothing can touch him because he's got God's grace over him and protection. So that'll happen straight when you've already seen the wonderful things that Trump's done. Biden, literally today, this morning, as of 4 a.m. Israel time today, ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. That was announced by Joe Biden. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, new heaven, new earth, right here, baby, right now. All right, love you. I will see you in another video if I feel led to, but I hope the Kachina story blessed you, because, like I said, they're all the same thing, telling us the same thing. Just be good, be kind, be harmonious, be charitable, and you'll have no worries. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to talk about before I say goodnight. I don't think so. But I hope you enjoyed this chat, and yeah. Okay, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video if I make one. God bless you. Bye.